Hello everyone, this is Zibo, and today's video will be a team explanation video because this is one of the most highly requested video according to the many comments within my Discord as well as YouTube. And I think I'll start off with one of the most versatile as well as well-rounded and complete team at the start of global release, and that is none other than the Dragon Rams team. Now, this Dragon Rams team is also known as the Thunder Skill Damage team because it relies on the fast recharging from Shasusu as well as the various buffs that Leona provides for the team, boosting Rams' damage output tremendously from his skill itself. Now, if you like the video, do remember to like and subscribe for more videos in this series to come. And before I start talking, here will be the contents for today's video. We'll talk about the team a bit, and then we'll talk a bit more about the carry, which is Thunder Dragon Rams, and then I'll talk about the main cast, the UNISONS characters as well as the equipments. Then I'll do a short simple showcase with the account or the team I have right now, and then conclude it with my own conclusion. Let us first start off by talking about the carry of the team, which is Thunder Dragon Rams. So Rams' leader buff is Thunder character skill damage plus 100%, and her skill strikes lightning at the nearest enemy and deals damage in an AoE with up to 22.5 times of her attack damage. This damage is actually increased if the enemy has a paralysis effect active as well. So as you guys can see, she buffs her own skill damage as well as the other Thunder character skill damage. At the same time, she also works very well with teammates that can actually paralyze the enemy because she deals more damage from her skill if the enemies are paralyzed. Now, the key reason why she's so scary and she's known as the Thunder Skill Damage team lies in the abilities. So the first ability increases her skill damage by 50%, pretty reasonable, but the second and third skill when she's a main unit boosts the skill damage further for herself as well as the party members when she uses her skill. So this works really well with Shasusu, which allows you to fill up the skill gauge of the leader and allow the leader to unleash her skill even faster. So all this skill damage stacking allows Ram to throw out a shit ton of damage after she uses her skill a few times. And this is further buffed up by the other equipments as well as the characters, which we will talk about later. At her maximum potential, Rams can actually receive up to plus 390% skill damage just off her kit alone. So the next two units, which are the main cast of the team, is the reason why this team functions so well. And let me start by talking about Shasusu first. So I guess you guys should know about Shasusu by now. She's an SS tier unit and everybody's praising how powerful she is. She's really versatile. She can be used anywhere because her ability simply makes your leader a much stronger unit. And when she's placed as the main character, at the battle start, she actually gets the skill gauge plus 100% and also a further boost to the leader's attack. So she's basically a leader's buffer kind of thing. And her skill actually increases the leader's skill gauge by 30% and also grant a skill damage buff for the leader. So overall, you can see that she's basically a leader buffing battery, and her skill actually allows Ram to filter through her skill multiple times quickly in order to get the maximum potential from Ram's kit. The next unit is Lunaru. So Lunaru provides the Thunder element resist down as well as the paralysis, which will further boost Ram's damage output. She also deals decent damage from her kit. That's why she's a really good main unit, because you want to use her before you use Ram's skill with all the debuff as well as paralysis to further increase Ram's insane damage output. Now that we have talked about the main cast for the team, let's talk about the UNISONS characters. So for the UNISONS characters, I won't cover every single one on the list because each unit in each UNISONS slot, they roughly serve the same purpose, and I'm just going to talk about the ones that are really powerful or the ones that most people will want to use within their team. So I won't cover all 9 units, I'll just cover probably 3 or 4 to let you guys understand how the UNISONS slots work in this team. So the first one is Clarice. So Clarice has a plus 80% skill gauge at the battle start, and when you combine this with Shasusu, it allows Thunder Dragon Ram to unleash her skill immediately at battle start. So this, like mentioned earlier, is to allow for Rams to cycle as fast as possible through her skills, so she can actually kickstart the skill damage boost she can provide for her teammates. At the same time, Clarice deals a lot of damage on her own, And the direction of the skill target complements really well with Ram's skill because both of them throws their skill in front and deals an AoE damage, so it works really well. And this basically boosts the whole damage archetype of skill damage further, simply because the objective of this team is actually just about skill damage, and Clarice just fits so well in dealing even more skill damage as a Unison character. So next, I want to talk about the off element Caillou. So Caillou provides a HP regen, attack up, as well as all element resist down, which makes her one of the very good all-rounder debuff unit. Her first ability also provides additional attack power because your party member will always be above 80% HP at battle start, and that makes Ram's first burst deals a lot of damage as well. And for the next unit, we have Cagliostro. So Cagliostro is similar to Caillou in a sense she acts as a healer in the team, but she's able to dish out way more damage than Caillou because her skill has additional damage. She's able to buff her own skill damage, and her heals function more efficiently because most of your units are gonna be Thunder element. Now Jay is an easily farmable character within the Whitetails boss dungeon, and I think he's really good because he provides a Thunder element resist down debuff, float for the team, as well as attack down for the enemy, which will help your team survive longer as it lowers the attack values of the bosses, making them deal less damage to you. Now if you're considering using Jay as a Unison unit, then you might want to complement him with Owlbird because Owlbird provides an attack buff when your team is in the float state, and you can actually cycle between Jay's float as well as Owlbird's float ability to keep your team afloat for most of the matches. Lastly, let us move on to the equipments to understand how these equipments make this team really OP. So I'll skip the Thor's hammer because this is a lab weapon and the lab weapon hasn't been released yet, so I'll be excluding it from today's discussion. And from the left hand side, we have the Tiger King's Axe. So this weapon skill allows you to increase the holder's skill damage by 40% whenever a Thunder character activates their skill. So you can accumulate up to 5 times, allowing the holder to deal an additional plus 200% skill damage. So when you combine this weapon with Sha Suzu's quick recharge, as well as heroes like Clarice to cycle through Ram skills really quickly, you will reach the maximum potential really fast, and this will tremendously boost Ram's damage as a whole. And the Parade of 100 Demons Orb allows you to increase the damage of everybody when your opponent is under a debuff effect. So Paralysis is a debuff, so this is a damage buffer from the Paralysis edition. And the last equipment, the old looking staff, allows you to increase every teammate's skill damage by 10% up to 4 times whenever the holder of this equipment activates their skill. So this boosts the whole skill damage archetype, making this Thunder skill damage team really complete and really potent at the start of the game. Yep, and that's pretty much it. This team is pretty solid. You have a full team right now with all the key heroes to maximize your damage. Overall, this team is probably one of the top, if not the top damage dealing team right now, dealing consistent damage both in manual as well as auto. So if you need a bit more sustain, you include the healers. If you need more damage, you include more of the debuffers. Basically, this team is pretty relevant and it's really very cheap to build because there's not a lot of 5-star units and there's a lot of 3-star units inside like Sha, Susu, Albert, this kind of 2-3-star heroes, which is very cheap. So yep, this is a super duper good team and it's a really beginner friendly team. And Rams being a very future proof unit is definitely a solid start that all beginners can actually go for. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked today's video, do remember to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more Wolf Reaper contents. And I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys!